Okay, rant of the day. Just this comes because of a news story, just the sensationalization of things and how you should kind of look behind things instead of just taking a news story for granted. This is generated basically by Channel 11 News in Pittsburgh, I should mention. Story about hemlock, poison hemlock, the herb, not the tree hemlock. And they're doing a story right now they've been running. I saw it yesterday, I saw it again this morning, where they're talking about the spread of poison hemlock as if it's this new invasive species. And I'm guessing it's kind of prompted that they wanted a local story to compare to the murder wasps out there in Washington State. And, you know, that's kind of a real catchy name to give a wasp that's from Japan and named in Japanese originally anyway. But just understand, you know, the media's out there trying to make a buck. The way they make a buck is by getting views. The more views they have, the better rates they can charge for advertising during their newscast. That's how they make money. So they do a lot of very clickbaity things. Poison hemlock, Conium maculata, I believe, off the top of my head. I may be mistaken. It's been here for a long time. It's nothing new. Its existence along, especially rail trails, because they're disturbed areas anyway, but along any disturbed areas, if there's an increase in it, it's just because of an increase in disturbance, allowing invasive plants in general to colonize more territory. I know of one stand of poison hemlock at the bottom of Ann Street in Economy Borough, Pennsylvania, that has been there. It's actually on the opposite side of, I believe that's State Street there by Northern Light Shopping Center. On the opposite side there's a huge stand of it. It's been there as long as I can remember. I think it was there when I was in high school in the 80s. I mean, it's been there forever. There's nothing new about poison hemlock in Western Pennsylvania. There's nothing new about poison hemlock in this country. There's nothing new about it being all along roadsides and railroads and other disturbed areas. It has been here for a long time, but you know, they need a story. And not just to single out Channel 11 News, all the media outlets do this. It's always, you know, like I said, they're trying to make a buck. They're trying to make their advertisers happy. They pick and choose what stories based on advertising. They're less likely to print a story that criticizes somebody who's a major advertiser on their network. That's just the way it goes. That's part of their business. You know, they may not go out of their way to suppress or deny a story and cross that line, but they won't go out of their way to show anything bad. They're not going to do, you know, if their biggest advertiser is Coca-Cola, they're not going to do an investigative report trying to say bad things about Coca-Cola, just for example. If it happens to be locally something like First Energy, great example. There's a place called Little Blue Run. It was the largest fly ash lagoon in the country. You know, now it's being dried up and remediated and everything. It made National Geographic. There were people on the internet from other states. I forget what university it was. There was a guy that had a whole web page set up about how you can see Little Blue Run Lake from space, and it's this weird odd blue color and all this other stuff. The local news barely covers it, and part of the reason why is First Energy is a major advertiser here. That's just part of the way it goes. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's human nature not to bite the hand that feeds you. And my point here is you've got to look into what you see in the media and judge the merits of it. If they're posting something about a murder wasp, go to a reputable science-based website and look up exactly what the hell it is and what the hell it does. Something that gives you the facts about its entire life cycle, not just that it's huge. It can be a problem for people who are allergic to bees. Hell, a honeybee can kill somebody who's got an allergy. Exactly what effect does it have on honeybees? Yeah, they prey on honeybee hives, but at the same time, they raise bees in Japan, I'm sure. How are they dealing with it? Figure out the pros and cons. Don't just buy into the hype wholesale because some talking head on TV tells you. Do a little bit of your own research to back it up. I just happen to know a little bit about, hell, I made another video before that story came out where I was actually, videoing poison hemlock near my house here to show what it is. I actually did that twice. The first one I haven't posted yet. It was taken, I want to say, I think it was March, but when it was just barely coming up, it was just like a base floret, and it's a little bit bigger now. And my most recent little adventure, I've got photos of it, or I showed it at the beginning. Like I said, it's been here forever. Going back to something less environmental. Look at the summer of abducted children. It was a slow news day. They put one child abduction on the national news, and all of a sudden it's in everybody's consciousness, and when that story took off, they started posting all these other ones. There were actually less child abductions that particular year, but it gained traction in the news. So you got to do some research and put things into context. Some things are worse than they say. Some things are not as bad as they say, but they try to sensationalize them. That's what they do. That's how they make money. You always got to consider the source whenever you're looking at information. It goes with energy too. The people who are pro fossil fuels will go off the deep end about windmills killing bats and birds. The people who are pro windmill make it sound like it kills 5 of them in a year, if that, and point out all the bad things with the fossil fuel. It's hard to find a balanced, non-biased opinion that gives you data to kind of weigh things out for yourself in a lot of situations, especially things that are very politically charged like that. Gun control, abortion, anything else. The extremists on both sides are controlling a certain narrative, and the narratives don't mesh. It's hard to find anything in the middle that really shows you what the hell's going on. So just my 2 cents for today, and that's it for this one.